All right. What are the other questions? What did I
I
miss
want to show
here?
him the magic.
All right, Max, explain. Uh,
Daddy.
we definitely will be getting to all the emails, so don't worry. So now that we're done shooting, I've been spending like yesterday. I answered a bunch of emails and trying to get through them. There's like hundreds, so but we're getting through it. All right. Will there be any flips in the lightsaber duels like in the prequels? Lincoln, my friend, you won't be disappointed. All right. Let's see here. What other questions? All right. You're my favorite director. Oh, dude, you haven't seen anything I've directed yet. Okay, so the way the editing process works is the assistant editor, Hamad, has gone through and sunk all the footage, and now I'm going through it and starting to basically log it all. Or not necessarily log it all, but look at it and kind of take it all in to make sure I know what I got. And then I can start editing. The I'm going to start editing with the visual effects heavy scenes first, mostly because we need time to do the visual effects. So every single scene in this film does have visual effects, but some of them are like every single shot has a visual effect. And so I'm starting with those scenes first so that we have the maximum amount of time to do visual effects and sound effects. And so if you have visual effects experience, be sure to chime in and let us know. We're looking for people to do blasters, lightsabers, fog. So I don't know if you guys know this, but when you have a shot with a green screen, you can't have fog. And fog or haze or atmosphere, whatever you want to call it, it creates light rays and a really cool cinematic look. Something that we really wanted on the film. But with the shots that had green screens, which there are quite a few, we couldn't do it, and so we need to put fog in with visual effects and light rays. All right. Let's see here. Danny, Mr. Theory, thank you for your passion. And thank you for making this passion project and bringing us fans together. Well, Nolan Films, this is definitely what we're trying to do. When it comes time to post production, what is the average time that it takes to finish it, and can it be skipped and still get a good product? Definitely nothing in film production can be skipped, whether it's pre, post, or filming. Um, we'll definitely be taking the time we need to to edit this film, and like I was just talking to the producer Ian McClellan, and I was giving him the game plan of what's going on as of right now, and I said to him, "Now look, this will take a little bit of time because we can't just rush out with our first edit because that would be stupid." Any way to increase the volume? Am I not talking loud enough? After toast, I will talk louder. All right. Yeah, so you can't skip this process, especially editing. Editing is the final rewrite of the film. You have the script, you have shooting, rewrites happen during shooting all the time, and now editing is the final rewrite. So we can't skip this. Do you have multiple composers per episode? Probably not. It'll probably just be one composer to have a consistent feel throughout the entire episode. Good question. What's my favorite Star Wars character? Anakin, of course. All right, how long do you expect the final film of the cut to be? It can be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. So I would not anticipate it to be shorter than that, or longer than that. All right, how many stormtroopers is the real question? We had clones. Let's see what I can say without giving away his story. We had clones, Imperial officers, pilots, and even some stormtroopers that we used to accentuate and augment the look of how many clone troopers we had. Of course, stormtroopers didn't exist at this point in the story, but movie magic is movie magic, and it's super common to use like a foot or an arm or some unidentifiable characteristic to make it look like we had more clone troopers than we really had. Yeah, good old Kramer in the back. You better believe it, right there. It's my man. Okay. Mark, we're not sure if we're shooting in Utah yet for the next episodes. We're still looking. All right, what's up? Let's talk Star Wars. How's it going? Okay. So Frogus, I hope that answers your question. All right, Chris Prance, are you still looking for visual effects artists that can do any scenes from the film? Yeah, we are still looking for visual effects artists. We're going to need a lot, and we're seriously counting on the fans for visual effects. There is just no way that we can ever hire like a professional visual effects house to do everything. It'd be way too expensive. So that's the definition of a fan film is absolutely coming into play when it comes to the visual effects of this film, because we need the fans' help, absolutely. And there's some pretty simple visual effects, and there's some really difficult visual effects. And so ideally, everybody of every different skill level could take a shot or two. What we're gonna do is if you want to do visual effects, if you want to do lightsabers, we're actually gonna provide a template that has been developed by somebody, and so that in that way, every single shot that has a lightsaber, like this shot you see here with Darth Vader, he might be dominating, he might not be. You'll have to wait and see. He's dominating. Then the lightsaber in every single shot will look the same. So if you want to do lightsabers and know how to rotoscope, you'll be getting a template so that you can do the lightsaber, and you don't have to fiddle with the color or the vibration of the blade or the whatever it might be. All right. Let's see here. All right. Did you ever check out Ivan Ortega's Star Wars editing work? No, but Anna and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers both told me about him when they were here and said I should check him out. So I got to check him out. Is there any clones that we know? You're gonna have to wait and see on that one. You seem like a really good director. Well, thank you, Insidious Reaper. All right, if we want to send a video application audition with our visual effects skills, should we send it to the film's email? Yeah, Chris, that would be the best spot for sure. All right. Thank you for making this Vader fan film fantastic. Well, I appreciate that. You haven't seen it yet, but we're trying to make it fantastic. Rex is not in the film. I will say that. Story thief. In fact, we wanted to have a bunch of... in one scene, you guys all saw the live stream where there were a variety of shock troopers. We wanted to have a few members of the 501st, but any cosplayer who does 501st stuff is like always Rex. And at this point in the story, Rex wasn't a clone trooper anymore. He bailed after Order 66. So we couldn't do it. So we couldn't have Rex for sure. All right, Insidious Reaper. So are you both editor and director? Yeah. So I've edited for about 10 years professionally, and so myself, I will be editing and probably I'll probably bring in somebody else as well that I've worked with before to just get a second set of eyes, because it's pretty important to get a second set of eyes on things. You have directors like, for instance, James Cameron or Alfonso Cuarón, who are very, very big directors who also edit their own films. But they always bring in other editors, very talented editors, because it helps to have two heads looking at the film. All right, what are you most dreading about post-production? I'm dreading about post-production just getting it all done. There's a lot to do. All right, is there Nara Audio? Hey Danny, what's up? All right, is there going to be a really amazing cameo of a famous Star Wars character besides Mace Windu that will surprise us? There are some famous things that will surprise you. All right. See you later, Mike. Thanks for coming out. Mike played he was one of our stormtroopers posing as a clone. Let's talk Star Wars. Go check him out. Okay. How do you think the fan film... So Joe is asking, how do you think the fan film will add to how we see the characters of Anakin and Vader? I absolutely hope it helps you see Vader in a more personal light. Even more so, just not more so, but just add to what Episode 3 did to Vader's character. I hope it helps you see him like that. To feel the emotions that he feels and know what he's going through. Is the film going to have any battle droids in it? There are droids. I'll say that. All right. Yep, Star Wars Theory says you guys will get a surprise. Love them. There are a lot of surprises. We've really tried to go the extra mile to plant a lot of Easter eggs and big surprises that will knock you over the head that you guys won't be expecting. All right. So Jake the Gearheart says Ivan Ortega is currently wrapping up his re-edit of The Last Jedi. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, Star Wars Theory says ask Danny all your questions, guys, and hit like to support him. Thank you, Star Wars Theory. It's kind of funny now that I have met Star Wars Theory and know his name and everything. I have to catch myself to say Mr. Theory or Star Wars Theory instead of just his real name. Hey, so now our audio is asking, do you guys have any plans for a sound designer yet? We do not currently have a hired sound designer. So, in our audio, if you're interested, let us know. So the entire film is basically, this is a big thing. The entire film is essentially a complete re-sound design. Vader, as you know, voice has to get replaced. Guys know that Darth Sidious is being voiced by Bradley Klein out in Spain. And because of that, because everything's getting replaced, and Vader will have to be Foleyed and everything like that. I mean, it is a big job, this sound design. Basically, everything's getting replaced. So that's going to be a huge job, and most likely we'll probably try to get a bunch of fans involved, like some people doing the background sounds, some people doing the voice work, some people doing sound effects, to kind of make it the most efficient possible, make it the most efficient process. Make it the most efficient process as possible so that we can make a release date, but with a really great product. If one person tried to do it all, we'd make the release date, but it wouldn't be, maybe it wouldn't be as great as we know it can be. So, The Insidious Reaper, are you going to direct all of the episodes? I would love to direct all the episodes, but first I want to finish episode 1 first. All right. Speaking of Mr. Theory, does he have a Stan Lee style cameo? He should be an officer that gets choked. That's funny. He should have been. All right. Who would you like to play as in the Star Wars universe? Man, in the first feature I directed when I was a freshman in college, I was doing a behind the scenes thing, and I told George that I wanted to, that he blew it not casting me to play Anakin. That I was born to play the role, that he did it too soon. Okay, Star Commander. Hey Danny, are you guys officially doing episodes 2 through 5? If so, when do they anticipate to be released? It's not official yet because episode 1 hasn't dropped. But if episode 1 is if episode 1 is popular and people really like it, then the chances of episode 2 happening is much greater. By the way, Danny, we really love Star Wars Theory, but you need to stop him from spoiling everything. Is he spoiling things? Star Wars Theory. All right. Have you decided to add cortosis in the end? I don't know if I can talk about that. All right. At the University of Sussex, and I may be of use. If you want to, we've had a bunch of people apply to be the composer for the film. So definitely send in your stuff. I have not started listening to them yet. As you guys know, Star Wars Theory's posted a few things, but that I probably won't listen to them for a couple weeks, just because I got to focus on the edit, because I got to get things out to visual effects. All right. So now our audio says I've done some work with Jesse Gomez and Brad Sidious voice. I will send it over. Okay, cool, man. All right. Hey Danny, how stressful is this? Dalton, like you wouldn't believe. Super stressful. I'm losing my hair. It's all going. It's stressful. Look, movie making in general is just stressful, and directing is stressful. But mostly because there's such a huge fan base for this, and I mean, you guys are. We want more than ever for you guys to mash the like button when you see this and break your phones out of sheer joy because it's so amazing, rather than saying that was the worst fan film I've ever seen. We really want this to be good. Speaking of likes, hit likes. There's 47 of you watching, and 28 of you have liked. So let's hook it up. Okay. So Vapid Toast, are you guys using episode 1 as something to show to private investors who may want to donate to Star Wars Theory's channel? From what we understand, people can sponsor the films, like according to Lucasfilm's rule. That would be great. That would be fantastic if that happens. It's more Star Wars Theory's realm than mine, but that would be fantastic. So what Dalton asks, what other films have you directed? I have directed a variety of short films and a couple of television pilots. Some comedy, drama, mostly action though. Mostly action. Kind of like this film. Say hi, Vader. Hi. All right. Will you guys release a version of the fan film without visual effects? I'd love to see the uneffects version because I really enjoy watching behind the scenes of VFX movies like the prequels. Hey, Jake, that's a good idea. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. I mean, you guys will be blown away because, I mean, as I watch the footage, there are sometimes I'm like, wow, this is really quite boring. But then, you know, because that's without all the effects. I won't go into which effects. And I'm not, when I say boring, I'm just like, it's yeah, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Visual effects really add a lot to it. Okay. Jonas, how can I get into directing? I'm currently working on a documentary at university, but I'd be interested in getting into film. Documentary is a fantastic thing to do if you want to direct. It teaches you how to tell a story from nothing. So I worked my way through my master's degree by editing documentaries. So it's all about storytelling. So definitely focus on that. All right, can you give us a hint of what Star Wars Theory's face looked like? Yeah, you bet, Chris. He's got 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. All right. A version of the film without the soundtrack so us composers can practice could be a good idea too. Yeah, it's a good idea too. All right. We know about the Sith and the Jedi, but what about smuggler, gunslingers, or bounty hunters? Would there be any in the series? I don't know if I can say that. Yeah, I don't know if I can say anything about that. Sorry, man. All right, is Star Wars Theory able to monetize the behind the scenes and interviews? Know their films? Yes. That'll probably go into making episode 2. But you got to remember, Star Wars Theory is losing money on this for sure. Okay. Zacto Shark says, what if you put the film on your Patreon and would only let paid Patreoners watch it? Would that be monetizing? Probably. Yeah, we can't. Lucasfilm has told us that we can't put ads on the film, so I imagine that wouldn't be too kosher either. All right. Chris asked, did you finish a film school, and if yes, which one? I went to the University of Southern California, USC. It's where George Lucas went, Ron Howard, Ryan Johnson. So I went there. All right. What do you think about the Clone Wars returning? Man, I dig it. I love the Clone Wars. All right. Yep, it must be free for August. Okay, so let me think here. What else was I going to talk about? One of the biggest things I look for in editing this are the emotions of Vader. So the little small idiosyncrasies that he does as he moves. And the nice thing about Vader is that the audience is able to project the emotions onto his face because look at his face. It's like that all the time. The face doesn't move. And so it's the classic example of what's known as the Kuleshov effect. The Kuleshov effect is the juxtaposition of 2 cuts next to each other. So there's a famous example that Alfred Hitchcock gave where there was like a girl sunbathing in the sun, and then a picture of or then a video of Hitchcock looking, and he was like, I look like a dirty old man, I'm looking at this girl sunbathing. But then he switched it around and replaced the girl with a bowl of soup. and showed the bowl of soup, and then Hitchcock looking. He's like, well, now I seem like I'm a hungry man. And so Vader in this story, and any Star Wars movie, Vader or any character in a mask, you use this editing technique called the Kuleshov effect, it's where his emotion is highly dependent or would be filled in by the audience based on the shots before and after it. And so that's something that we definitely take into account, or I've been taking into account as I directed it and as we edit this, of how the shots around the shots of Vader will inform you guys, the audience, of what he's feeling and how he's feeling. So that's just a little editing thing. Jake the Great. So both good and terrible directors went to that film school. Okay. Yeah, and Frog's posture says a good bit. Yeah, it's not to say that we just had Vader stand there. Absolutely not. I mean, we had him do plenty of things. But the editing of the shots around him certainly go a long way. Okay. All right. Danny, this is TCG music. Do we have the rights for Star Wars music? We probably will not use Star Wars music. This is mostly a Star Wars theory decision. Although it's not being monetized, I mean, we could, but if you, and which would be sweet. I mean, Darth Vader theme, dun dun dun, right? It'd be awesome. But if we were to use Star Wars music, it would get blocked in certain countries. Therefore, some people wouldn't be able to see it. All right. So Vapid Toast asks, what have you specifically learned from this project thus far? A lot of stuff. How to get a lot done in a short amount of time. Okay. So let me talk about that. Some people have expressed concern regarding that we shot the movie in 4 days, and if we shot the movie in 4 days, how could it be good? Well, guys, let me tell you that. This crew was made up of extreme professionals. This was not a bunch of friends getting together in a backyard to make this movie. The cinematographer, as Star Wars Theory said, is a 2-time Emmy winner. The producer has produced dozens of films. The costume designer, professional. I mean, the stunt coordinator, professionals. All these people were professionals, and so by doing that, we knew what we were doing, and because of that, also shooting's expensive, and so every single day you add to shooting cost exponentially more, and so according to the budget, that's what we needed to do. But it's not a problem. We got it. We got everything that we needed, and the movie's gonna be great. And so, only when you're, just messing around, does shooting take a long, long time. A lot of people bring up Darth Maul Apprentice that they shot, over so many days, over 2 years, and I've talked with Sean, the director, about that, and he basically told me that they'd get what they could, and then they'd wait for people to be available again, and they'd get more stuff. And that is a fine thing to do in filmmaking. But they were okay with the film. They were okay with the film taking a really long time to make. The Star Wars Theory wanted this film to come out as quickly as possible, and so that's what we did. And it's cost them more money than, say Darth Maul Apprentice did, because he wanted to make it quickly. But 4 days, guys, plenty. We got what we needed. So I think it's a silly thing to be concerned about. Don't let your lack of faith be disturbing. All right. Noller Films, is there an opening crawl? Kind of. There'll be something at the beginning to inform the context of what's going on. Okay, is film school necessary, or do you think someone can learn without film school? Absolutely, you can learn without film school. The absolute best way to learn how to make a movie is by making a movie. There is no substitution. It's you can read books about it, you can watch movies, but the best way to learn how to make a movie is to make a movie. And you don't need a ton of money to do it. You can use your phone. All right, have you seen the fan film Darth Maul? Yeah, Eclipse Infinity, I was just talking about it. I like it. Sean did a good job with it. Okay. Ethan, do you have to go to film school to get into the business? No, you don't. I have plenty of friends that did not go to film school. Is it possible for me to make movie posters for you? So I know Star Wars Theory is always up for fans making fan posters for this. So of course you can. All right. So Frogus, that's how you say it. Okay. All right. But Chris asked, but will you still be able to create music with melodies by John Williams, such as Imperial March, and create a new score? Right. I'm not sure. Star Wars Theory is the YouTube experts when it comes to that. Okay. In future episodes, I like to participate by giving you a few 3D assets of ships and an ISD. Since you already have the script, maybe you can add them in the background. Cool, man. Well, we need 3D assets for this episode. Ships. In fact, we need a Venator-class Star Destroyer. I'll go out and say that right now. I know some fan was working on something for us. But we do need a Venator-class Star Destroyer, a 3D model of a Venator-class Star Destroyer. The outside, not the inside. Okay. Jocko 4, how long is the movie? Please answer. Anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. It's hard to say since we haven't cut it. All right. Could you use hints of this John Williams melodies? Probably hints. Star Wars Theory, if you're still here, I have mad respect for using a professional crew, but using the fans for actors. Vapid Toast, I wouldn't worry about that. The acting was top notch. You want to know why? Because I freaking directed him. No, and Steve is a professional actor. Steve, the guy who played Sidious, knocked it out of the park. Dupree is an actor. He's just a super fan. Kat Lascelles, who played Padme, is an actress. Coincidentally enough, most of the people we cast were actors. They happen to be actors as well. But we did a lot of rehearsals. Performance is far and away basically the biggest thing I'm concerned about as a director. And I worked very hard to get the right performances. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. I was happy with them. All right. Do you think, Dalton asked, do you think someone can learn film without going to film school? Absolutely. Make a movie. You will never learn more about making movies than by making a movie. So Bendak Starkiller says, hey Danny, in your experience, is the old adage true that directors are people who didn't have talents, looks to be an actor? I don't know what you're trying to say, Bendak. Look at me, man. I'm the spiffiest person alive. I could have been an actor. I don't think that's true at all. No, just, do you want to act or do you want to direct? I don't want to act. I have no desire to act. And if you don't have a desire to act, direct. I don't think there's any problem with that. Okay. How much exposition is in the first episode? Exposition sucks. We'll say that right now. There's none. We get right into the story. How did I meet Mr. Theory? I met him on the street 2 weeks ago. All right, did you see Jon Favreau reveal of his story for his Star Wars series? I've seen a little bit about it. Okay, let's see here. MagD Studios. All right, man, shoot me an email if you can make a Star Wars story. All right, Star Commander, if you were unable to fund episodes 2 through 5, would you guys want it to be represented in other forms, such as a comic? I'd be open to creating a comic adaptation. I'm not sure what... that's really a Star Wars Theory thing. I'm sure he would want to do something, but I think he wants to make the film. All right. Mark will send you an email about stuff. Okay. No, man, I'm saying I'm happy with the decision. Oh. Okay, Vapid Toast. I'm sorry. I misunderstood your question. You're happy with the decision that we used fans as the actors. That was extremely important for us. It really, really was. Because it's a fan film. We wanted the fans to be involved. And most of the crew were super fans too. One guy came up dressed like Han Solo one day. So, all right. All right, let's see here. All right, a If you became a super Zacto Shars asks if you became a super famous director and could direct any movie you wanted it to be other than a Star Wars movie. If I could direct any movie I wanted to, I would direct a Polynesian war movie. Think about it, guys. Polynesian warriors doing the haka dance right before they massacre or something. Be pretty sweet. I've already got a script. I've already got a script for a story that I really would like to make one day. All right. Magdi Studios. Hey, Danny, I've tried to apply for a VFX role, but I've been very busy and trying to sling some visual effects shots together. Is there any potential still working on this project? Yes, absolutely. Send us an email, and we'll get to you relatively soon. All right. Will there be any Jedi or Sith holocrons in this film? It's funny you should ask that, actually. There was a fan, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he wanted to make holocrons, and we were going to put them in one scene in the background, and we were even considering having them be kind of a part of the scene. But probably a couple weeks before the filming, he's like, you know what, I just can't get to it, and it really wasn't a big deal because it wasn't going to be like a huge story point. But as of right now, no, there's nothing. Okay. Exposition sucks. Can someone make a t-shirt? Yeah, somebody make that into a t-shirt. All right. Are you and Star Wars Theory planning on compiling all the episodes into one movie when they're all cut? Somebody asked that recently, and I think that would be a great idea. I think that would be super fun. I asked that cheesy question because the second part is that critics are people who didn't have the talent to be directors. I would not dare question your spiffyness. Thanks, Mr. Starkiller. Thanks. Yeah, a critic is certainly, I mean, you gotta, you think of the monologue from the food critic in Ratatouille. He's like, critics, they risk very little. They just sit in their high tower and criticize other people's foods. Yet the hardest thing is to give a good review when you think it's bad, or whatever it might be. I don't know. All right. Have you guys casted any of the other roles, such as Mace, the other Jedi, or even Yoda? No. Anything that was not directly in Episode 1 or that was not needed for filming has not been cast yet. I would love to sit down and watch every single Jedi, every single Mace, every single audition right now because I think it's fun. But then, guys, I wouldn't be editing, and then your movie wouldn't be as good. So I got to do Episode 1 first. Will there be Boba in the film? Well, I will say Daniel Logan is not Boba Fett in the film. He was not able to do it. All right. Since Samuel L. Jackson wanted to return as Windu, would you guys ask him to be the guy? Well, Shinichi Miser, or however you say that, I'm sorry. We actually did reach out to Samuel L. and his agent, and had a bunch of fans tweet him, but no responses, so sorry. And even then, he's part of the Screen Actors Guild, and they, I see, Bubba, we don't have money for Sam Jackson, of course. He would need to basically volunteer for it. But he's also part of the Screen Actors Guild, so, and we're not a union shoot. So, and they're not allowed to do non-union shoots. All right, so now our audio says it'd be great to have some of the original actors. However, I believe some of them, some of them have exclusivity contracts and they can't be involved in any projects that aren't. That's yes and no. Yes and no. So it's like you see, Kylo Ren in Saturday Night Live. So Saturday Night Live doesn't need permission to do a Star Wars spoof. But I imagine Adam Driver would need permission to do Kylo Ren for Saturday Night Live. But I don't know. There's a line when it's a parody. When it's a parody, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Unfortunately, our film does not fall into the parody category. Are you getting a Kiwi to voice the clones? Nolan films, he will definitely have a New Zealand accent. I will be adamant about that. All right, so Ethan asked, what is the difference between something like Google Docs versus a professional script writing software? Google Docs is a fantastic. We have a massive Google Drive that we're using for this film, so we use it extensively. It's wonderful. However, a screenwriting software does the proper formatting. Probably the most important thing about a script writing software is it formats it in a way to that one page roughly equals a minute of film. So I would highly suggest Final Draft. However, it is a little pricey. It's less than $100 if you're a student, which is fantastic. But there's also free programs like Celtics or something like that online. There's a variety of free softwares that you can look up. All right. During the shoot, was there a reason for Dupree having his Vader breathing turned on other than on set atmosphere? We had his breathing turned on initially because we thought it might. I don't know how you know that. But yes, he did have it turned on initially because we thought it would help the performances. Ultimately, after a few takes, I'm like, you know what, Dupree, just turn it off. We're not going to do that. So we nixed that idea pretty quickly. All right. MagD Studios, what are you using for color grading? Is that Premiere Pro behind you? Oh, MagD, don't insult me. For color grading, have you ever worked with DaVinci Resolve? This is Avid Media Composer. Again, I just got to check to make sure there's nothing, online, or nothing intense. But it's Avid Media Composer. Okay. Popular YouTube asks, how long do you think it would take for all the edits to the film? I'm going to try to edit the film in anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks, sorry. I got to speak loudly. All right, I know this is pretty unrelated, but are you going to play the new Assassin's Creed? Farhan, I'm making this movie. And I've never played the original Assassin's Creed either, so probably not. All right. Yeah, Celtics is the software Danny just mentioned. That is it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's free, which is great. Can't beat free. All right, Media Composer. You better believe it. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, to follow up on the second part of your question, DaVinci Resolve is what it will be colored in. Okay. Thanks for answering. I know because I saw a Star Wars Theory video. Of course, he spoils quite a bit. Yeah, funny story. So I told Star Wars Theory, I'm like, hey, you should live stream the first part of the first take that we do, on the first shooting day. And so he's like, all right, guys, I'm live streaming. And he started live streaming. I said action. And I told him, like, you should cut off after the first word to not give away the scene. And I turned to him, and he's still live streaming during the take. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're giving away the entire scene. And so he turned it off real quick. I'm like, come on, man. All right. All right. Are you worried about hitting the release deadline? Using so many different people around the world. Man, Bapit Toast, we are attempting something that's like never been done before when it really comes to fan films, to use people from around the world. I'm not worried about it. I'm interested to see how it plays out. All right, so Austin Moore says, does Vader speak in your film? Yes, Vader speaks extensively in the film. Noah Films, how did you come to direct this film? I contacted Star Wars Theory, actually, and got the ball rolling. And from there, it's snowballed. You'll be able to hear the entire backstory of how this film got happened. We just did interviews 2 days ago on Monday, and we give the entire backstory. So Star Wars Theory will release a video about that. Okay, so Architect and Company says, I'm planning on sending in a video of me doing a scene that I came up with that would be possible to be in the fan film with a bunch of lightsaber moves. When would be the best time to send that in? You can send it in. I do got to say that the next episodes are written already. So please don't take it hardly if we don't do anything with it. Are you shooting for a release date similar to recent Star Wars films, like mid-December before Christmas? Yeah, that is our goal. That's our goal. We want it because, again, there's no ads on this, so it's not being driven by ads. But the best time for viewers is kind of that, when school gets out. That's those 2 weeks or whatever during winter vacation. And so yeah, we're doing that. That's what we're shooting for. Does Vader do dad jokes like in Rogue One? What, like, don't choke on your aspirations, director? Um, uh, I don't think so. But he does have one line that you guys will get a kick out of. Not a funny line, but you guys will like it. Well, hopefully you like all of his lines. All right. So we'll see his face, Vapid Toast. I'm not sure who you're referring to there. Sorry. All right. If you get this film big enough, would Luke? Let me start over, Farhan. If you get this film big enough, would Lucasfilm consider it as something to be added to canon? If so, we better keep rewatching them to increase the popularity. Well, you should definitely watch it multiple times. There's going to be a lot of things that you guys will notice on subsequent viewings. I would highly doubt. I mean, it'd be sweet. Let me just okay. I'll just say it would be awesome if Lucasfilm made it canon. Although I don't know how. I don't know how that. I don't know if they would actually ever do that. All right. Let me see here. Let me see. All right. Maybe this film will help you get directing some real movies. I'm already a fan. This is a real movie. Don't shortchange it. But yeah, I would love to direct some bigger movies. Okay. Is the line in episode 1? The cool line that Vader says, I'll let you be curious. But to be honest, we actually went to great lengths to not include many lines that Vader has said, mostly because fan films overly utilize lines from the movies, and that takes you out of the story. So 99.9% of the dialogue in this film is original. Or in the series, I should say. It is original. There's only 1 or 2 instances where we have a line that is from the movies. And they're moments that are deserved. They're not just thrown in there haphazardly. So Dalton asks, are you leaning more on the dark and serious tone or more on the humor side? Or can there be a bit more humor? It's more on the darker side. It's more on the side of Revenge of the Sith in Rogue One. Well, I shouldn't say Rogue One because K2SO was super funny. Did anyone ever call you spiffy nerd herder shaking their fist in disapproval? No, but you should. You'll be the first. Okay. Naraudio says just because it isn't a fan film, it doesn't mean it's not a real movie. Yeah, you better believe it. John Rowland says, was there any Star Wars questing on set? If so, which line? I assume you mean quoting? Yeah, there was a bunch, of course. We had fun. Thanks, Farhan. Even if it isn't canon, it'll be canon in our hearts. Appreciate that. Okay. I like the dark mall picture you have on the wall. How long did it take to get all the filming done? So Magic 10, those are autographs I got at Celebration, I think 3. Back in like 2006 or 2007 or something like that. So I've got Tamara Morrison's autograph, Ray Park, and Daniel Logan. I was kind of friends with Daniel Logan at the time, and so he took us around and we met Tamara, we met Ray Park, we met Peter Mayhew, we met who's the dude? David Krause. And he got us a bunch of their autographs, and so we got them on the wall. Okay. It took 4 days, and also Magic 10 to film, and we'll probably have a half a day of shooting some inserts, but those aren't very, very, very minor stuff. But it took 4 days, and we shot well over 100 setups, and so we booked it. But we were prepared. That's what preparation comes in. All right, Bendak Starkiller asks, will there be any explosions in the movie, will they be real or visual effects? There are explosions in the movie, and they're a combination of visual effects and practical. All right, Nolar Films, do you play any of the Star Wars games? Not currently. I've been busy making you guys a fan film. But my favorite video game of all time definitely is Knights of the Old Republic. All right. Vapid Toast. I have a lot of faith in this. Thanks, man. For a brief second, I thought it said, I have lost all my faith in this. All right. Jewel Vip says, do you have a cameo on the fan film? No. Star Wars Theory asked me if I wanted to, but I said no. I really have no desire to be in front of the camera. Except I'm in front of a camera right now. All right. Are there only 2 main locations, or did we only get to see 2 of the locations? You only got to see 2 of the locations. There are more than 2 locations. William, it'll be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. What was the budget for a project like this? So Star Wars Theory has publicized this, so I don't feel any restraint from telling you guys. It was about 80,000 United States dollars. But keep in mind, 80,000 United States dollars sounds like a lot. You're like, whoa, you can do a ton of things like that. But keep in mind that the construction people, everybody, it was a paid shoot for the most part. They were definitely volunteers, but where we really felt we needed professional stuff, Luke, we paid people, so it wasn't just like $80,000 going into props like you would a film if you were doing it just with a bunch of buddies. But $80,000, but we basically have spent that, so we need help with the visual effects from fans. But that's always been the plan, because the fans are so awesome and have been so incredibly willing to help, that we've really been counting on that. All right, so how did it? All right, I gotta go up. Explosions are in episode 1. Yep, that's tight. It was tight. It's cool. And I think you guys will like the way we do it. I don't like explosions just for explosions. All right, what are your thoughts on the new Venom movie coming out this Thursday? I'm going to go see it. Yeah, I'm going to go see it. I like Marvel movies. I'll probably do a review on it. All right, what camera lens setup did you guys shoot with? So Chase, we shot with an Arri Alexa Mini. The Arri Alexa Mini is a cinema camera. It mimics the look of film. They used an Arri Alexa to shoot Solo in Rogue One. So it is a very high-end camera. Hold on a second. I'm still filming. Okay, thank you. It's my son. And we used a 24mm lens, a 50mm lens, and an 85mm lens. However, we didn't use the 85mm. We only used it for a couple shots. So I think we should have probably gotten like a 35mm as well, but we didn't. All right. Have you directed anything? Predatorius Films asks, have you ever directed anything in the past that we can watch? Yeah, my channel has 2 of my first student films on it, so they're pretty old. But I need to post my very first fan film that I made in high school. Some of you guys have found it, but I gotta post it here. And I want to post a few other things that I've done too. Gotta remember, I don't have rights to post everything, so I can't post everything. All right. Farhan asked, have you gotten any inspiration from directors like Christopher Nolan? Yes, I love Christopher Nolan. One of my favorite things about Christopher Nolan, in fact, is that he is so story-driven that his shots really aren't that elaborate, which I like. However, this film, shot-wise, was more inspired by the likes of Spielberg and Peter Jackson. A lot of push-ins and stuff like that. All right, $80,000, asked Chris Parenza. Was that enough to pay the crew and all the people that worked in production? Barely. All right. All right, so Timonis says, what was the most fun thing to do in the film, and is your son Luke a Force user? He thinks he's a Force user. Probably the funnest thing was when he came to set and I let him say action a few times. All right. Maggie Studios says, gosh, I still can't get over the fact that camera is expensive. Yeah, the Arri Alexa Mini is an extremely expensive camera, but we rented it. We did not purchase it. When you get to professional filmmaking, and I know a lot of you guys know this, but for those of you who don't, you rarely purchase things at that point. A lot of it is rentals. Because what are you going to do with it after you're done? You've shot the movie. So, uh, all right. Have I met Mark Hamill? I've not met Mark Hamill. What are your thoughts on the ending to the Solo movie? Um, I thought it was okay. I didn't mind it. I got to see it again though. I've only seen it once. So I wanted to go buy it last week, but I was filming a movie, so I got to go out and buy I got to buy the DVD. What is this? 2005? I got to go out and buy the Blu-ray. I hate digital copies. All right. Chase Garcia, great setup. I know the camera. There were rumors that you were shooting with a DSLR, and I thought for sure you would not. No way. One of the biggest things, so this is camera lingo, guys, so I apologize. One of the biggest things that was super, super important to me was that we shot on a camera that had a global shutter. A global shutter that is a camera that takes each of the 24 images, and we shot 24 frames a second. That it takes each of the 24 images as an entire image at once. DSLR cameras or your cell phones or other cameras like that, lower end cameras, shoot what's known as a global shutter, and it goes from like top down. So it takes the image top down like this way, and so when you're panning or moving, the image slightly shifts because it was taken not at the exact same moment. It was taken, in the breadth of 1/24th of a second. So that was my big thing. We were not going to shoot on a camera that had a rolling shutter, so we had to shoot on a camera with a global shutter because there was so much visual effects. All right, how do I feel about the Terminator 6 movie? Well, Ewan McGregor, hello there. I hope it's good. I like the Terminator franchise. I've been fairly disappointed with it of late, but I think Terminator 1 and 2 are some of the best movies there are. I think James Cameron is a great director. All right. All right, so guys, I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. So if you have any more questions, please type them in and smash the like button for me. I say smash because that's what Star Wars Theory says. All right. Architect and Company says, sorry, I meant for my last question to be as an extension of my other Jedi edition just to showcase my abilities. Ran out of characters. I just don't want to bother you in editing. I can't remember what your question was. Sorry. All right. Chase says, I personally shoot with the Black Magic Ursa minis and such. I really want to shoot some Ari and Red on one of my upcoming shoots. I've only shot on the Black Magic Pocket Cam. I remember we shot some insert shots for something I was doing then. I remember it had a gnarly rolling shutter. But I am not familiar. But I know their 4K camera has a global shutter, so I'm not super familiar with it. All right. Yeah, the dynamic range is huge on the Ari, which is fantastic. We really needed that. Now, as you guys see here, these shots are really dark, and so we needed as much latitude that we needed, and we shot in RAW so that we can have as much as we have. So what you're looking at right now, somebody just asked a question about the aspect ratio. You're looking at a 16:9 image. However, it'll be cropped to be 235. So the same aspect ratio that all the Star Wars movies have been shot in. We wanted to shoot true anamorphic with anamorphic lenses, but anamorphic lenses were just too expensive. All right. Haddon asked, how old are you? I am 29. Okay. Did anyone get injured while filming the fight scenes? No. No one got injured, fortunately. Steve did hit the camera at one point doing a stunt. I'll let you be curious on what that stunt is. But he was fine. But I think that's the closest thing that anyone ever got to being injured. We had a stunt coordinator on set for the stunts, and so with pads and all that stuff. And so, look, it's a fan film. It's a movie. It's not worth it. Anyone getting hurt. All right. Are we going to get a blooper reel? Yeah, you'll get a blooper reel. As I've been going through footage today, I've been excising a few bloopers. Okay. David Hernandez says, just a couple more questions, guys. David Hernandez says, hey, dude, what's up? I'm thinking about making a career out of filmmaking. I'm really passionate about it, and I'm excited to get started. Any tips on a new and up-and-coming film director? Tell as best stories as possible. That's probably my biggest tip. And tell stories where your characters change. It's not interesting when characters don't change. not change clothes, but change. The best way to think about it is what can your character do at the end of your movie that they cannot do at the beginning? All right. Dalton says, if you ever direct a feature film, it will definitely happen. Thanks, man. How will you react if it was something like a Star Wars or DC or a Marvel movie? I'd be stoked, man. Totally want to do that. My dream is to direct a canon Star Wars movie. All right. How would you compare the Vader films to the other Star Wars fan films? Well, Infiltrator, that's a little hard to say right now just because it's not done yet. But if it turns out to be the way I think it's going to be, I think you're going to be very, very happy with it. I'm not going to say it's going to be better than any other ones or anything like that, because that's not cool. But I think you'll be extremely happy with it. Natty Plays says, thank you for telling us about cortosis. Yeah, guys, check out my video I posted yesterday about cortosis. I filmed it before we started shooting. I filmed it like 2 weeks ago, but just never was able to get to editing it. So I did it yesterday while I was waiting for the footage to come in. Is Mace Windu going to be in it? He is going to be in the series. For this fan film, did you hold action or story higher? So Jake the Gearheart, that's a good question. We wrote the story first, then we added action. Story is always paramount. I think a gripe I have with fan films, not just Star Wars fan films, but fan films in general, and some feature films and action films, is that it's action, action, action with no story. And that is something we did not, under any circumstances, want to happen. This had to be a great character piece about Vader with some action in it. So, but there is action. Can we expect to see an epic Darth Vader lightsaber duel? You better believe it. All right. Thanks, Kelly. Over. You 47. You said I subbed. You guys should all sub if you haven't. All right. How do you feel about trebuchets? I think they're pretty cool. I like them in Lord of the Rings. All right. All right. You left me a read on Instagram, says JK Ultra. Cool, man. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to sign off here. Thanks for watching today. We're at an hour. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to try to do these live streams a little bit, fairly regularly, mostly because they take less time than making an edited video. Not because I'm lazy, but again, I want to spend as much time as possible making this movie, not making YouTube videos, because this movie is the most important thing. So please subscribe, share the channel with your friends, hit the like button if you haven't. But I want to keep you guys informed, just like Star Wars Theory does, while not giving up too many spoilers, because I want you guys to be surprised as well. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Please keep in mind we're making this for you. And I truly mean that. We're making this for you guys. We want it to be good. I constantly am thinking, are the fans going to like this? Or the fans going to like that? We really, really want it to be good for you. And that's why we're working our butts off to do this. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good night. And remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do twice. And you'll turn out okay. All right. See you later.